We continue to follow breaking news out of college football where Jim Harbaugh has agreed to serve his 3-game suspension from the Big Ten as part of the Michigan sign stealing scandal. The conference investigation now closed. However, the NCAA's remains ongoing. In a statement, Harbaugh said he decided to accept the sanction to return the focus to the Wolverines' on-field product. He'll be eligible to return to the sidelines for the Big Ten title game and college football playoffs should Michigan be selected. All right, let's bring in Sam Webb, our 24/7 Sports Michigan insider. Sam, what's the very latest of your understanding of what Jim Harbaugh is doing here and the significance of what we're learning today?
Well, I think in the statement, it kind of lays out a couple of things, that this was a protracted sort of ordeal would be seen as a distraction, especially if the case that they bring Friday is not a winning one. And what I'm gathering is there were certainly some legal arguments that suggested that Michigan didn't have a winning case, that arguing due process alone, and I actually wrote about that this morning, talking to a legal insider here in town who said, Michigan's case doesn't meet the threshold, due process alone. So to go into court and to take an L certainly wouldn't be a good look. And who knows what, if anything, that would do to shape perception moving forward. On top of that, you also have, I think, the acknowledgement that even if lack of knowledge of the transgression is a given, which they seem on the inside to be saying, and have said all along that Jim Harbaugh had no idea, and that even was the case with the statement from the Big Ten that, hey, there's a lack of oversight. I think you can infer from this decision that there is some culpability, some level of culpability that they see between losing, having a losing argument in court likely, and feeling like at the very least you have a lack of oversight, and to have that battle going on for, while you're still trying to win out this season. It just seemed like the juice wasn't worth the squeeze. And then the other piece, just from my own kind of view of this, anytime you have an ongoing investigation, I don't care what program it is, you have you're going to find something. That's just not pointing a finger at any particular transgression. I'm not even talking about anything with Connor Stallions. I think there's something to be said for, look, if you have a means of ending an investigation, at least this phase of it, with the Big Ten, and especially if you feel like pushing forward right now isn't going to give you a positive result anyway, you end one investigation and deal with the other, so you don't leave yourself open to them uncovering something that you weren't even thinking of. They didn't know about this. Who knows what else you might expose yourself to if you just have random investigations going on. So I see it as a layered thing. Probably didn't have a winning argument according to, if they were just going to argue due process, which seemed like was going to be the case. Some culpability as far as lack of oversight is concerned, and an opportunity to end an investigation, and like an open-ended investigation, when you don't really want that to happen.
So, Sam, there's some people that thought that the conference came down a little heavy-handed at the time. What do you think this does for Tony Petitti?
Well, I think Michigan conceding the battle is certainly going to give the proponents for the immediate punishment fodder for that view. I think Michigan knows that, and still felt like on balance that this is the best move, that it allows, even with the criticism or the credence that people feel like it might lend that particular position, that it was more important to not distract from the bottom line, and that is the team's quest to win a national championship. It removes Jim from the equation here down the stretch, but I think they probably gained some confidence from how well Jerome Moore handled things in the face of adversity at Happy Valley. Feel confident that with him at the helm, they can still win these games. You still get Jim Harbaugh back for the postseason, and then you deal with the NCAA investigation after that. So definitely, from the Big Ten's perspective, this is going to be viewed as a win, that Michigan isn't fighting it anymore. And for Michigan, I think they view it as it's an opportunity to get rid of one investigation, put the focus back on the season, and try to win a national championship.
Lastly, before I let you go, again, give us a sense of where you are. You mentioned Jim Harbaugh taken out of the equation, but not the entire equation. Remind us of what influence he still has here on campus.
Yeah, he's able to coach during the week like he was during the first 3 games of the season when he had a suspension, coach during the week, but just couldn't be on site or on premises for the games. I think the dynamic is going to be moving forward is going to be like it was those first 3 games where you're planning the entire week to not have them. I don't think that was the case this past week at Penn State, which is why I think it was so remarkable, the moves they were able to make on the fly. All the way up until he wasn't, where TRO wasn't granted. I think there was confidence that he was going to be on that sideline. So they were really adjusting, like in the moment, an hour before the game, to say they weren't going to have him. So now you can plan for it. Now you have so another rep under your belt without him out there. I think they feel like they can go ahead and get this done without him. And with the additional knowledge of, he's still around. He's still around all week, helping you game plan and helping you prepare for the game. And now you have the knowledge of knowing that he won't be there on game day, so those guys will be more prepared.
Sam, certainly appreciate you hopping on. Appreciate the insight of the pulse that's happening right now in Ann Arbor as the Michigan Wolverines again have 2 more games without their head coach on game days. Jim Harbaugh and the university stepping back, or as our Dennis Dodd would say, blinked first. They were still able to get it done in Happy Valley against Penn State, but 2 more games left to go. They'll be favored by close to 3 touchdowns at Maryland, and then the big game against Ohio State with Big Ten championship implications, as well as, of course, CFP implications. You saw the QR code there for Sam. Make sure to check out 24/7 Sports Michigan, as well as every other campus that we have at our disposal. Wall-to-wall team coverage, of course, recruiting rankings, and transfer portal updates. Check out the crew at 24/7 Sports.